Lights, camera, and action. Cut.
So, Lavesh, I've noticed a lot of videos. I follow Learn Bhangra myself on Facebook as well.
You should too.
You should too. So you guys do a lot of traveling and you do a lot of workshops there. How did you get started with all of that?
Yeah, perfect kind of segue from what we were talking about earlier when I started the app.
Right.
So the company is now called Learn Bhangra. When we started, we were just Learn Bhangra app.
Right.
And what made that decision, for us to change from dropping the app and making it everything, not dropping the app, but including the app in our portfolio, was this huge demand we saw for people all over the world who wanted to learn in person, who wanted to start classes of their own. And so it was really, I think it was in the first, I believe it was 8 months of us launching, we got contacted by, who's one of our key brand ambassadors now, in Mexico City.
Wow.
She had responded to us and said she had friended me at some point, and her name's Aline, and Aline had asked me, she said, hey, would you like to come to Mexico? We really want to spread Bhangra here. Aline's not Indian, she's Mexican. She only teaches Bhangra to mainly Mexicans. It's not, there's a huge Indian community there.
Very cool.
Yeah, and that was, wow, there's this whole group, a community in a city that you wouldn't think would ever have Indian dance, much less Bhangra. Right. And they want to learn because they saw our tutorials. They said, oh, this is something that's helping us get better. This is something that'll help us increase our livelihood because she's a full-time teacher. And for her, it's like the better she can teach Bhangra, the more she can help it spread, the better she lives kind of thing, right? Just like any other dance teacher.
Absolutely.
And that started that. We realized there's this whole worldwide community in places not just that are kind of remote to what you would think is Indian dance, but even the main hubs. The UK is, the parts of Asia where Indians are there, and we found that people want to be connected to Bhangra, and that's where I think our company morphed. We morphed into doing workshops consistently. We morphed into creating a brand ambassador program where people who want to have that connection with Bhangra are connected to our company, and they have these other brand ambassadors they can do projects with. We started all kinds of crazy things. I can't even begin to tell you the amount of random projects that come up daily.
Even collaborations too.
Exactly, that's the other thing, right? And it started this wave of collaboration with other dance forms, right?
Absolutely.
And other dancers. And so I think that whole global network is where we kind of decided to rebrand from Learn Bhangra app to Learn Bhangra because of all the offerings through the projects, the workshops, certifications to teach Bhangra, etc. And so that's kind of how that journey happened. And I'm barely ever in New York. As much as I love the city, it's sad that I never get to spend time here. I'm always out every weekend because there's just that much opportunity, out there. And we're very blessed to be able to have that.
It's very, very awesome. So, after Mexico happened, did people just start reaching out to you, or were you guys the one that just
a little bit of both. I almost say it's 50-50. We were lucky that we did some good marketing, and we were also the first movers. Nobody had done anything like that, right? So we automatically had a little SEO with having the name Learn Bhangra. So that's always a benefit. But people also saw the work. Once you go to somewhere like Mexico and people who have not been exposed to it or exposed to it, they share it, they open it up, that spreads amongst, let's say Latin America. People in Europe start to see it a little bit more, Far East Asia, where they're trying to grow the scene. They say, hey, here's somebody who's helping other people. Maybe he can help us and their company can help us. And so it just becomes a domino effect, a chain reaction.
And he's been to all of these places himself, which is amazing.
I don't know how I do it.
So how do you do it? He has a full-time job as well. This is not just a side gig type thing where he created it as a passion and just continued on with it. He has a lot going on. So how do you
I think it's a little bit of probably an obsession at this point because I probably shouldn't do it that much as I do. I literally will leave on a Friday night.
Right.
And I will come back by Sunday or Monday morning, and I'm talking about 10-hour flights, consistently. I went to Singapore for 48 hours, and that's not normal. So it's if I see the opportunity, I'll do it, and I make it work. Right. I'm also a little lucky that I'm flexible. I work from home in my career. So I have a little bit of flexibility, but at the end of the day, it's, that's the breadwinner right now. It's the main breadwinner. And so balancing that is pretty much like you got to keep your job 9 to 5 and learn Bhangra has to be 5 to 9, you know?
Right.
And that's really the only way I can make both work effectively. But while it was harder a few years ago, it's much more balanced now, because what I realized is, look, I don't want to have all these things only for myself either. I want to grow this community.
Absolutely.
So we've brought people onto our team. We not only have now about, I think, 8 people on our core Bhangra team, we have like 25, maybe I think 30 brand ambassadors around the world. No, maybe of somebody here as well, yeah. So, you know, we've got all these awesome brand ambassadors, and so we split up the work. Everybody has the same passion.
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody's getting a little bit of monetary benefit out of it as well, too. That's the way I try to set it up. You know, and you want to get compensated for your time, obviously, right? And that's the way we've been able to continue to grow it. It hasn't grown as fast as it maybe could, because you split it up a little bit too much, but you end up being happier about the overall quality of what you're doing, because you're on a team, you've got multiple different ideas always going back and forth, and, you know, you're all kind of moving together.
And eventually you're covering all the bases.
Exactly. So, you know, we've been very lucky that it's worked out, you know, to knock on wood, thus far, so.
I'm not made of wood.
Like, I don't have anything else nearby, so hopefully you got a wooden knee.
Awesome. Okay, so, I mean, now that we're sitting here today, tell us what Bhangra is working on right now.
Working on right now, yeah. So one of the big things is, you know, 2018, we're going to really focus on the fitness side of things.
Okay.
You know, there's a huge opportunity there that we're seeing. Naturally, when a non-Indian sees Bhangra, who doesn't know what Bhangra is or doesn't even know much about Indian culture, the easiest thing they can gravitate towards is, oh, that's an energetic dance. That thing's going to burn me calories, right? And, you know, even if there's not that cultural background, they can see that. And there's so much demand for that. And, you know, there's such benefits to doing Bhangra from that standpoint. A Bhangra team member can tell you, you know, any practice, a Bhangra practice is like, you're talking about tens of thousands of calories that you're burning, right? So, from that standpoint, we realized that this is something I think there's definitely, from a business standpoint, a lot of opportunity. And so we're going to focus on trying to grow that, continuing within the same realm, right? We want to have just simple folk Bhangra as the background, the foundation of what we're teaching, but utilizing that and utilizing the technique of that to really take out that fitness benefit. So that's going to be one of our major goals for next year. We also really want to get into some cool performance opportunities. We've been very lucky up till now that we've had some, you know, we were invited to the Rio Olympics 2 years ago. We had a recent wedding in Bali just a couple months ago. So there's these cool opportunities that come up from time to time, and we want to continue to grow those. It's great from an exposure standpoint. It's also great from a team building standpoint, right? To have your dancers go out together and do something that very few people have ever been able to do in their life. What could be better, right? So I think we want to put a lot of time into fitness and getting those kind of performance opportunities as well.
Very cool. Speaking of other opportunities, I know that you just started teaching recently this summer at Broadway Dance Center.
Yeah.
So tell us about your experience there and how that got started.
Man, that has been like a godsend. It's been so amazing. I'd heard about, you know, BDC from back, you know, I think it was a few years ago. I had seen it on social media, and people talked about, man, this is the pinnacle of dance in New York and one of the best places you can possibly teach at.
Right.
And in a weird twist, I don't know how it worked out. You know, I was judging with somebody at a competition, and she had taught at BDC. She wasn't Indian at all, no Indian dance, but you know, she'd sent that connection. She was very kind to just say, hey, I'll send over for you. You know, I sat next to her the whole competition, so we got to know each other a little bit. And it seemed like BDC was interested in Bhangra. They were interested in our background, the fact that we had created these high-quality tutorials. They could see our work easily. And so they gave us the opportunity to start teaching. And, you know, just being in a studio where dance is so highly appreciated, and not by just the people who are running it, but by the people who are taking classes, the students themselves.
Right.
I mean, you are in, like, it feels like the mecca of dance there. Right? You walk in, the studio is great, the atmosphere is awesome, everybody's there to work, they appreciate everything you're doing. You have all people from all over the world there constantly. At every class I go to, I have almost every time somebody brand new. You know, we have some that continue to come, and sometimes we have brand new people every time, and I've had people say, oh, I've seen your videos, I'm from Spain. oh, I've seen your videos, I'm from Argentina, and it's all over the place. And that to me is like the coolest experience you could possibly have at a dance studio.
Absolutely.
So I've been very blessed that summer went well. Continue to have the teaching now. I don't know what 2018 will hold as far as how the schedule will look, but I definitely do know that I hope I can continue there and get the chance to dance with a bunch of awesome people.
And absolutely. Shameless plug-in. He teaches at Broadway Dance Center on Wednesdays from 9 to 10:30. If you are interested, I highly recommend it. Yep. It is an amazing workout and so much fun to have him as a teacher.
Thank you. I'm glad you've been able to come in, and I appreciate everybody's support to not only BDC, but every workshop class that I've had out there. I mean, it's just growing together and having fun. So yeah, thank you.
No problem. And I guess my last question is, are you looking for more talent for your team?
Always. We're always looking for more talent. Yeah, so hey, if you want to join the Learn Bhangra team, definitely check out www.learnbhangra.com. Follow us on social media. The links will be right
somewhere
here.
There.
Yeah, somewhere here. I don't know.
I don't even know if this is
general
proper
space. Yeah. We'll put up all the links and stuff. But definitely follow us and definitely email us, info@learnbhangra. We have brand ambassador positions all over the world. We're always looking to kind of spread and help people who are interested in Bhangra spread their self locally, right? It's really a two-way street, and that's how we've been so successful, with these people, is that we're investing time in them, and they're investing time in us from a branding perspective. So yeah, if you have any other cool talents, we're always willing to hear that, and we'd love to bring on more people. The more the merrier, I will say.
Really amazing. Yeah. So guys, thank you so much for watching episode 5 of The Chat. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. I'm going to include his links as well below, so be sure to look out for that. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Julie. I appreciate it.
No problem. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching episode 5 of The Chat Part 2. I don't understand why you're watching Part 2 if you haven't watched Part 1, so please click over here somewhere. My orientation's bad, but I know it's over here somewhere.